Goodness gracious, what in Arceus' green earth happened to you? Let's just say I had a bad run-in with a Lapras and leave it at that. Hydro Pump? Yes! Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. I am Speedy4, and welcome back to a brand new episode of ModTro64, the show where I basically pick a game and talk about it. Let's talk about Pokemon, but first, hit it! That's the wrong song! my bad. Okay then. So, as you already know, as this video goes live, Pokemon will be celebrating their 25th anniversary this year.
Which is crazy! Who would have thought that a small RPG that came out on the Game Boy in 1996 in Japan, and later in America in 1998, that it would spawn not only a beloved series of games that include mainline games, spin-offs, trading card games, and app games, but also a bunch of anime, movies, both animated and live action, toys, apparel, plushies, and most importantly, socks.
Well, I mean, I better not run into any fighting types. I mean, I don't want them knocked off or anything like that.
It makes not only an elephantine amount of money, ooh, that's a good word right there, but it has cemented itself as a global phenomenon, and there aren't any signs of it slowing down. I mean, we recently got a Pokemon Presents, and we're finally getting remakes of Diamond and Pearl for the Switch. Also a cool looking prequel game that looks like if Pokemon met Breath of the Wild. But more importantly, new Pokémon Snap!
Finally! A sequel to a game that desperately needed one!
And so, to celebrate the upcoming release of new Pokémon Snap this year, I'm gonna be taking a look at another childhood favorite of mine. The original, the one and only, Pokémon Snap. But first, some history. Pokémon Snap started development as a different game entirely. Developed by HAL Laboratories, yes, the Kirby people, along with some assistance from Pax Softnica, who worked on games like Mole Mania, Donkey Kong Game Boy, and get this, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer on Game Boy Color.
Well, I mean, that's kind of fitting. I mean, I just recently talked about that video, which, by the way, if you're new here and haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a really fun video. But anyway, getting back on topic.
The game started off as a game called Jack and the Beanstalk, and not much is known about it. All we know that it was originally for the 64DD, a peripheral that came out only in Japan, and we barely know anything about it. No screenshots and no gameplay footage was ever shown. Some speculated that some of the elements would later get used for Earthbound 64, but as we already know, that never came out as well. Sometime around February 27th, 1996, Game Freak had recently released Pokemon Red and Green version in Japan, and seeing how Jack and the Beanstalk wasn't going anywhere, the idea would later get turned into a spin-off. Satoru Iwata, God rest his soul, stated in a 2010 interview that Pokemon Snap's original incarnation, Jack and the Beanstalk, was a normal game where you take photos, but the motivation for playing the game wasn't clear. They first thought of what players would have liked to take a picture of, but then they made a forced switch to taking pictures of Pokemon.
I mean, it's kind of a smart idea if you think about it. I mean, you still gotta catch them all, but not in Pokeballs. No. But on camera.
Eventually, the game would be completed and be released on March 21st, 1999 in Japan, and July 26th of the same year in America.
And I still happen to have my original N64 cartridge to this day. But we're going to be taking a look at this on the Wii U Virtual Console because I want the picture to look nice. Also, the Wii U needs some love here. Yes, you were Nintendo's least successful console, but I still love you.
So we start the game and we get this sleek opening, seeing the logos for HAL Laboratories and Jack and Beans. which was the development team for Jack and the Beanstalk. We then see this character, Todd Snapp, who's originally a character from the anime, who appeared in episodes 55, 56, and 57, and then would later appear in the JoJo series in episodes 187, 188, and 189. Here, we see him do some sick moves as he attempts to capture a picture of the elusive Mew. And this sets up our goal. We need to capture Mew on camera. We then get this title screen. Oh yeah, this gives off some nice tropical vibes, and it feels very, very groovy. But for this review, I am not Speedy 4, and I am not Todd. I am Fneef. So, we meet up with Professor Oak. He's called us here to take pictures of the Pokemon here on Pokemon Island, which is a little weak. I mean, yes, I know, this was before we had other regions and cool inventive names and lore and whatnot. However, it gets the point across very well, but it's a little weak name-wise. Anyway, getting back on track, Oak provides us with our main method of transportation around the island, the 01, which is an all-terrain vehicle that's set on a track and will make its way to the goal gate, which will teleport us back to the lab. We come to the course select screen and that music. I mean, look at them dudes jiving. Oak just seems to be bobbing along to the beat, and Todd is doing some kind of gesture. I mean, what is this? Weird dances aside, we go into the first course, the beach. It's a pleasant stage where it teaches you how the game works. You hold ZL to ready your camera, and you press A to take a picture. When the little Pokeball icon has a little red dot, that means the Pokemon is centered. In the meantime, you can look around using the control stick, and the right stick is used as a replacement for the C buttons, which is used for quickly turning left or right, or if you need to center the camera again by pressing up. In this stage, you'll be taking pictures of many different Pokemon like Pidgey, Pikachu, Doduo, Eevee, Butterfree, Meowth, and so on. Afterwards, you'll reach the goal gate.
Whoops! Must have pressed the wrong buttons somewhere. Okay.
Okay, that's pretty cool, not gonna lie. This is the original manual that came with the game back on the Nintendo 64. Man, I remember the days when games had bright, colorful manuals that gave you more backstory and gave you tips and tricks on how the game works. Nowadays, all we get is... But yeah, the manual actually gives us a reason on why we're taking pictures of Pokemon and not using Pokeballs to catch them.
Dear Todd, my name is Professor Oak, and I research Pokémon. I have heard of your excellent work as a photographer, and would like your assistance in my research. I am currently doing research on Pokemon Island. Wild Pokemon are the only creatures who live on this island, making it the perfect place to study Pokemon in their natural habitat. I have thought of asking Pokemon trainers to help me, but I'm afraid they would become too interested in catching the Pokemon on the island.
That makes sense. I mean, if I was a trainer and I saw a Lapras or an Eevee or even a Pikachu, I'd be throwing Pokeballs left and right, just trying to catch them.
If that happened, the number of Pokemon on the island would decrease, and Pokemon Island would lose its value. Instead, I would like for you to take pictures of the Pokemon in their natural setting. Your pictures will help me complete my Pokemon report. I am looking forward to working with you. Please come to my laboratory right away. I'll be waiting for you, Professor Oak.
But there's some neat little things in this manual, like the control panel of the 01 is an N64 controller. That's a good detail right there. Or how it incentivizes you to try and recreate examples in the manual. A good challenge at the time, but you don't really get anything from it. Anyway, getting back on track, we enter the goal gate, and you'll be taken to the camera check, where you can look at all the photos you took on the course, and using Oak's Mark will mark the photos you want Professor Oak to see. Album Mark allows you to store photos you want to keep personally, and then to Professor Oak, which will obviously take you right back to Professor Oak. But if you selected photos for him to look at, you'll be taken to Professor Oak's check, only to hear the grooviest beat you can imagine. Oh yeah, if it's not already apparent, the music in this game is good. It tackled a lot of different fields, and this is by far one of my favorites. Oddly enough, it sounds like something you hear in a Crash Bandicoot game. Here, Professor Oak will grade your picture on a variety of factors. Special pictures, which happen if there's a special event that takes place during the course. Examples being Surfing Pikachu, Fighting Magmar, Graveler's Group Dance, and so on and so forth. Unlocking these special photos usually require precise timing and the use of unlockable items later in the game. Size, where the bigger the Pokemon is in the photo, the higher your score will be. However, be careful not to be too close to the Pokemon, because if part of the Pokemon is cut off of the edge of the photo, then the score will be lower. 1000 is the best score you can get for size. Action, whether or not the Pokemon strikes a pose or is in the middle of doing something, like say stomping or like attacking. Position, where if you get the Pokemon in the center of the frame, you'll get double the points. And same Pokemon, where if you get more than one of the same Pokemon in the picture, Oak gives you a small bonus depending on how big or how many extra Pokemon are present in the photo. Now, this last factor isn't really something to be scored on, but rather it's more of an in-game rule. Never take a picture of a Pokemon from behind, as it will either not be identified at all or score very little. And it's just considered rude. Also, be prepared to hear Oak's praises for a while.
Wonderful!
Alright, next course, the tunnel. It's very eerie. We see an Electrode rolling around and an Electabuzz chasing after an Electrode, only for it to use self-destruct and knock out the Electabuzz, and cause a bunch of Kakuna to drop from the ceiling. We get deeper into the tunnel and we see a Zubat fly right at us. A Pikachu next to a giant egg, some kind of glowy orb, a Diglett that if you take a picture of 3 times will become a Dugtrio, and a Magnemite that refuses to have their picture taken. However, as we're leaving, we see an Electrode next to some red rocks.
I wonder what's behind those rocks.
Well, after you've taken some pictures in the tunnel, you'll be given our first upgrade, Pokemon food.
But aren't those just apples?
No, it's Pokemon food that looks like an apple.
Really?
Yeah, even Oak says it.
Okay, fair, but I'm not gonna call it Pokemon food the whole time during this review, so I'm just gonna call them apples, okay?
Okay, you'll review your rules.
Okay.
But this is actually really good, because now we have the option to interact with our environment, like throwing a trail of apples to get this Pikachu onto a surfboard, or getting Kangaskhan's attention. However, in the tunnel, we can throw an apple at that Electabuzz to stop it from chasing that Electrode, and not having itself blow up when the Electrode goes off. But that also means we can make any Electrode blow up, which we use to get a better picture of Kakuna, and we get these 2 Electabuzzes to turn on the generators, and the screen gives us clues, like taking a picture of Diglett, but we already knew about that one. Oh, but what's this? We can distract Magnemite with an apple long enough to take a picture of it, and by throwing apples in a particular way that we can make the Magnemite gather and become Magneton. We then chuck an apple at that Electrode from earlier and...
Ooh, secret path.
Yeah, in Pokémon Snap, there are paths that lead to different sections of the island that can only be found by interacting with the environment in some way. The path we just found leads up into the volcano, where we can find Rapidash speeding past, Vulpix looking heckin' adorable,
Aww.
Charmander, this egg, which we knock into the lava and out pops a Moltres, Magmar. We then take a picture of this Charmeleon, knock it into the lava pool, and it becomes a Charizard. And a big one, too. We then get our next upgrade, the Pester Ball, which, when thrown and it hits something, it unleashes a noxious Pokemon repellent that can knock out or stun a Pokemon, which we not only use in the previous courses to take pictures of Scyther, Snorlax, Chansey, Growlithe, and Arcanine, and allows us to find more Pokemon in the next course. The River. It's a slow drift down the river, which, with the help of our Pester Balls, we can take pictures of Poliwag, Bulbasaur, Slowpoke, and Slowbro if you lead the Slowpoke to a fishing spot where it can fish up a Shelter, which we can also take a picture of that, along with Metapod, Psyduck, Cloyster, and using a Pester Ball to bring out Porygon hiding in the walls, and throwing another Pester Ball at them removes their camouflage. However, this Porygon lands on a switch, which opens a gate, and we go down into the cave. No, not that cave, but I will talk about it sometime. As for this cave, here you'll be taking pictures of Grimer, which you can turn into muck by throwing 3 Pester Balls at it, Bulbasaur, which are actually Ditto, Coughing chasing a Jigglypuff, but Pester Ball seems to make them disappear, like they go out of existence.
What have I done?
We also take pictures of a Weepinbell, knock it into the pool, and it becomes a Victory Bell. Also, a Zubat is carrying a Pikachu. It's kinda hard to hit, but if you manage to hit the Zubat with a Pester Ball, it'll drop Pikachu, and it'll deploy a bunch of balloons, and it'll gently float down, where it'll run into these pairs of Jinx, which look depressed for some reason. But if we manage to rescue all the Jigglypuff, we'll see them at the end of the stage giving a concert.
Oh! Hey, look, it's the song from the...
Well, this is new. I guess while I'm deep in my subconscious, I guess I can think about my brand new Patreon I'm doing, where the people who do watch the show can support ModTro64 in a small way. That is, if they want to. Completely an optional thing. Have to stress that. Although, as of right now, I currently have 3 tiers viewers can pledge to if they want. I should think about the tiers while I'm at it. What were they again? Let's see, the $1 tier, where it will show their name at the end of future episodes. That sounds nice. The $3 tier will not only show their names, but I will read out a personal thank you to those who contributed, along with showing their icons. That sounds a little better. And, then there's the $5 tier, which will have everything the $1 and $3 tiers had, but they'll also be getting a wallpaper representing them, drawn by me personally. Oh hey, that's a really good example my brain came up with. I should think of reading out the names in a humorous manner. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe a comedic skit involving reading the patrons? I'll think of something. I should probably wake up now. I have the camera running, and I have a show to do.
Oh. Sorry about that. Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Anyway, we then come into the valley, where we float down another river. And there's a huge mountain that looks like a Doug Trio. Might want to take a picture of that while we're here. There's also some Squirtle, a Magikarp that gets punted over the mountains by a Mankey, Geodude clinging onto rock walls that we need Pester Balls to knock him down to take a better picture of, and out pops a Sandshrew. So cute. We also do the same thing to knock down a Graveler, and out pops a Sandslash. Neat. We flow downriver, we knock the Magikarp into a waterfall, and out pops a Gyarados. Fun fact, this is actually based on a Chinese myth called the Dragon Gate, where if a carp manages to swim up a waterfall and pass through a magical gate at the top of the waterfall, that carp will become a dragon.
I think it's a clever nod to the legend, as well as being a fun gameplay mechanic.
However, one Pokemon on this level is so hard to take a good picture of is Staryu and Starmie. Now, Starmie isn't as hard, so I can kind of give it a pass, But Staryu is so hard to get a decent picture of. It's like trying to take a picture of Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. Which, why aren't those Pokemon yet? I mean, Lapras kind of counts, but why haven't we got a Bigfoot Pokemon yet? That'd be perfect. I mean, look at Lockstin's Vitisquash. That, right there, is a good idea. Also, while we're here in the valley, I figured now would be a good time to talk about the controls. While on the Nintendo 64 they worked just fine, and on Wii U they also work fine, but it's kinda hard to aim where you want. And you really can't tell how far you'll throw an apple or a pester ball. Like, I keep missing these Geodudes to get them to knock down the Graveler that's up there so I can take a better picture of it, but I keep missing them. Of course, it could just be me overcorrecting myself, but it's just something I feel like pointing out. Also, while you move pretty slow, I do feel like the 0-1 needs brakes. The only way you can stop yourselves is if you intentionally try to crash into a Pokemon, and the 0-1 stops itself before so. Having the option to brake will allow for some really cool photo opportunities, like getting up close to the Pokemon and taking the perfect photo. Of course, that would remove most of the challenge from the game, so I can respect the decisions here, but still, I kinda wish I want a break. Anyway, getting back on track, you'll soon see any Staryu that you manage to take a picture of will go into the whirlpool at the bottom of the valley and be turned into a Starmie. But if you throw a pester ball into the whirlpool 3 times, out pops a Dragonite. You'll also see some Squirtle launch themselves over a hill, and if you line up this one Squirtle and toss a pester ball at it, you'll hit this Mankey, which will appear around the corner. And if you line up the Mankey and throw a pester ball at it, it'll roll backwards and hit the switch, where we find a small hut?
Oh.
With Oak there?
So, remember back when we took a picture of that mountain that looked like a Doug trio? Yeah, apparently in each of the courses there exists something called Pokemon signs,
which are apparently the key to unlocking a secret course. And this is where we get the best upgrade, the Dash Engine, which allows us to speed up the 0-1 so we can go through a course much faster. Which is good because this gives us an opportunity to reach certain events before they actually happen, like getting ahead of Doduo to take a better picture of it at the beach, or getting in front of these Pidgey before they use Gust on Meowth. Also, while we're at the beach, let's take a photo of the first sign here, Kingler's Rock. And now we get our last upgrade, the Flute, a Pokemon staple. And with it, we can make certain Pokemon dance or wake up sleeping Pokemon like the Snorlax on the beach, or use Pikachu to use Thundershock on this egg so it hatches a Zapdos, which turns on this huge generator in the tunnel and it lights up a display and our second Pokemon sign, Pinsir's Shadow. Now that we have everything we need to take pictures of new Pokemon, and with our Flute ready, we could take pictures of this Vileplume, which its spores were covering up the Cubone tree. We then head back into the volcano, throw a pester ball into this lava pit, and the smoke becomes vaguely shaped like a coffin. We go into this cave, take a picture of these series of crystals on the wall, which later reveal to be a constellation of Mewtwo. And we also use the Flute on these Jinx, which not only makes them more lively and dance, they also cause this ice egg to hatch, which reveals Articuno. We then go into the valley one last time and throw pester balls into the water to take pictures of Dratini and Goldeen. And now we have taken a picture of every single Pokemon thus far. And now that we have the signs, Professor Oak managed to figure out that these signs are correlated to constellations in the night sky.
It's the sky.
Which point to the final course of the game, Rainbow Cloud. Oh, by the way, that glowy orb we took a picture of back in the tunnel, it was a haunter. Now, we're in the night sky, and we can see the constellations Oak was referring to. And there it is, the legendary and elusive Pokemon, Mew. In this game, your encounter with Mew is to be treated sort of like a boss battle. Mew will float around, and if you try to take a picture of it, the bubble that it's in will shine brightly, blocking your camera from seeing Mew and taking a picture of it. So you have to knock Mew out of its little bubble. So you know what time it is?
More Pestiballs!
Toss these multicolored gaseous balls at Mew 3 times and you'll enter another phase where Mew's little shield is green and will aggressively fly towards you. Hit that shield 3 more times and look, it's out of its shield. And we can take a picture of it, which we do, and then we leave. Although, looking back on it, it's not exactly the greatest picture, is it? However, that won't stop me. I won't give up. I will get an awesome picture of Mew. And thus, we have the perfect picture of Mew. Perfect. Even the professor agrees with me. And finally, credits. So, is that it? Well, technically, yes. I say technically because after completing all of the courses and getting all of the Pokemon, you can now try to beat the high score on each of the courses. But it's not really needed for completion, it's just something fun to do.
Also, not really an issue, just more of a minor nitpick, but you know how I said that I got all the Pokemon in Pokémon Snap? Guess how many there are?
Well, considering that Pokémon Snap came out in the first generation of Pokemon, that means there were originally 151 Pokemon. And out of the entirety of this game, there are a total of 63 Pokemon. That's basically 41% of the entire Pokédex.
Now, remind me again, what was this game originally released for?
The Nintendo 64?
That's right, and 64 was Nintendo's whole identity at the time. Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox 64, even freaking Doom 64. There are loads of Pokemon that you could have picked out of the entire Kanto Pokédex to round that number up to 64 Pokemon in Pokémon Snap. I mean, we could have had a Caterpie on the beach, or even a Golduck in the river. Heck, I'll even take a Ghastly in the tunnel. I mean, again, it probably had something to do with cartridge space, so I can understand it, but it's just a missed opportunity, man.
But despite that, Pokémon Snap is a really quick game to play through. And it's an experience that's not only fun to play, but also very relaxing and chill. It's a must-own if you collect for the Nintendo 64, or if you have a Wii U, or if you're a Pokemon fan, or you're just a gamer like me.
So, if you have the N64 original or find it for a decent price, then I'd say get it. Or, if you want to go with the Wii U version and play it on Virtual Console, then I'd say that's also a good choice. Either way, Pokémon Snap is a game you gotta go and get. Nailed it. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go ask Professor Oak what he thinks about new Pokémon Snap being a game.
Wonderful!
Thank you so much for watching, and a big shout out and thank you toward Lockstin for allowing me to use his Lockemon Vitisquash in the video. Get it? Because it's a Pokemon made by Lockstin? Lockemon? Dang, that's clever. But seriously, you should check out his video on Vitisquash as well as other Pokemon he made inspired by the Pacific Northwest. Also, a special shout out to BarbieE4 on Twitter for helping Lockstin design Vitisquash as well. Seriously, you should go check them out. They make some really good art. Anyway, if you liked this video, give it a like. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this in the future. As well as hitting the notification bell, cause it'll let you know the moment I upload a new video. By the way, like in the previous video, I don't like pointing this out, but I have to, because 60.4% of you guys that are watching this aren't subscribed to the channel. Seriously, if you like these videos, it'd be beneficial if you subscribed to the channel, because that tells me, hey, they like these videos. Also, it makes my brain produce more dopamine, and I need that stuff, so that I can make your brain produce the dopamine as well. Help me help you, right? But yes, now I actually have a Patreon, and you can donate to the channel if you want to help up the quality in my videos. Plus, with all the different tiers I put up, you'll get recognized for helping this channel grow and prosper. Plus, it will be fun to read out the names of my future patrons. But what I forgot to mention is that not only will my patrons be a part of the official ModTro64 Discord, but my patrons will also be able to see these videos early before they go public. Talk about cool, right? Also, if you want to get something cool and help the channel in another way, don't forget to check out my TeePublic, Redbubble, and Displate stores. But again, both my Patreon and the online stores are 100% optional. But the financial support does go a long way in making this channel much better. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.